Hi everyone, welcome back. This is going to be a video showing the installation step by step of the Vittorazi Moster 185 Plus onto the Virus. This is the Virus XC2.2, obviously in white. We're going to be removing the backplate, showing the entire installation as to how to install, what to look out for, how to route your fuel line, where your primer bulb and your little injector gets routed to, and obviously all of the other little features, for example your pull start cable guide, and various other tips and tricks that you can take note of so that you make your installation, if you choose to do the installation yourself, it's going to be a reliable installation. It's not going to be troublesome. We'll show you where to apply Loctite, what bolts need to be tightened, how they need to be tightened, in what order they need to be tightened, and a couple of other tips and tricks as to the installation of a Vittorazi Moster onto the specific machine. Let's jump straight in, let's take the backplate off, let's mount it to the motor, and let's get into the actual installation. Hope this is informative for you guys. If you've got any questions, please interact with us at the bottom of the comment section, and enjoy the video. Not a lot of tools that are required to do this installation. Most of the bolts are actually cap screws, and you'd need a number 6mm Allen key. I have a 5 and a 4 as well. There's a few other mods I like to do. You're going to need 6 bolts for the mounting of your propeller. I don't know why Vittorazi don't include the mounting bolts with their props. It's something that I think they should start doing just to up their game a little bit. Make sure you get a coated, either a nickel plated or a stainless steel bolt, purely because of the fact that any mild steel or those blackened bolts will rust. Obviously you're going to need Loctite. I use quite a strong thread locker. I don't like taking chances. Then you're going to need one of these crimpers. This little crimper here, along with its little lug. This lug is basically what's going to connect onto your kill switch, or should I say your kill switch wire, which mounts onto your coil, which I'll show you shortly, and a multimeter, purely for the fact that you need to use continuity. Once you've done the installation and the wiring up of the actual kill switch, you need to test it. It's obviously not a good idea to do that test with the engine running and the inability to be able to cut the motor. So what we do is you always test it first. I'll show you how to do that step by step, and we should begin the installation in the next section. Okay, first things first guys, number 6 Allen key, very simple. Step number 1, remove the mounting plate from the actual chassis. It's mounted with 4 Allen cap screws, one situated there, one there, one there, one here. Remember, all the back plates are different based on the different types of engines you're going to be installing, and obviously that the machine's compatible with. This is the Vittorazi Moster 185 Plus. And there is the spacer, here's the bolt, here is your plate. On the back of this plate is the mounting piece for your pull start cable, or your pull start wire or string, whatever you want to call it. That obviously will either route up inside of this, between these 2 plates here during reinstallation, or like some people prefer to do it, can route up to the top here and then locate directly into your shackle. It's totally up to you. This time I'm going to try the installation in this route, in this manner here. Previously I've always routed it on this side of the plate. I'm going to try it over here. Doesn't make a difference, it doesn't chafe, it doesn't catch, it doesn't damage the actual pull start wire or cable in any way. It's just personal preference. Here we are. Here's the back plate I've just removed. There are still 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts which are still mounted onto this back plate. That is how the back plate came off originally. Remember, you had 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts securing this back plate onto the chassis. It's now been removed. These bolts over here are the 4 bolts that will screw through here and into the actual engine mount on the motor. So the next step is to bring the motor onto the table, turn it upside down so that the engine mounts are facing up, and mount the actual back plate to the motor. Right guys, Loctite applied to the engine mounts, each one of them. Give it a generous portion, give it a generous share, and then at the same time to each one of the bolts. Once again, I don't skimp on this. I make sure that there's more than enough Loctite on here. I'm anal about this. I make 100% sure that where there are vibration issues specifically relating to the mounting of an engine, I don't take any chances. Right, so those are the 4 bolts. Once they've been tightened, you ready for the next step. Okay guys, we're back at the machine itself. On this specific back plate, we'll be utilizing those mounting positions over there. And those will basically work with these 4 bolts that we took out earlier and the black spacers. The black spacers are positioned for the 4 bolts, which will screw upwards in that direction, holding the back plate, which already has the motor mounted to it, onto the chassis. Remember, just to recap, we removed the back plate, we installed it onto the engine mounts from behind, we applied our Loctite to all the bits and bobs that we needed to make sure that there's nothing comes loose during operation through vibrations. And then what I've basically done is I've taken the whole engine assembly with the back plate on, and I've mounted it very, very loosely and temporarily with 2 of the top bolts. As you can see, it's still loose, onto the main chassis. Don't forget your black spacers. Now what we need to do is do exactly the same thing on the bottom. Now, let me just take the spark plug wire away. There's the lower mount over there. I've put the spacer in, however, not the bolt. So you need to try and line it up, which I've managed to do over there. But before you put the bolt in, you need to put Loctite onto this bolt as well. Then do the same over there for the other lower engine mount. I'm going to come back to the other bits and bobs that need to be done still. The fuel line routing, how to route the actual injector, and where to actually mount it that is a good safe position, and then also how to mount the airbox as well as the securing rivet that the airbox doesn't actually pull away and rotate through vibration and make contact with your prop. So I'll show all of that to you shortly. We're sitting now with an installed backplate onto the Vittorazi Moster engine, and the entire assembly with backplate installed once more onto the actual chassis of the Virus. Here are the actual mounting bolts which install the backplate with mounted motor onto the chassis. There's one, there's the second, and if you have a look at the bottom, there's the third, and one other underneath over there, there's the fourth. If you come to where the silencer is, just underneath the silencer, you'll get a glimpse of it over there. What I like to do next, guys, in terms of installation, is the pull start. I like to get the pull start out of the way, run it through the guide, and then up through the shackle, and leave the handle situated just behind the top spar. I like to do that because it keeps all of this out of the way and allows me to then wire up the coil and install the throttle, connect up all the other bits and pieces, for example, your fuel inlet or your fuel supply, as well as your throttle cable. So with this out of the way, you have nice direct access to your throttle, your butterfly, and all of the interconnecting bits and bobs.